Okay, welcome back to Two and a Half and a Retired Wrestler podcast.
Well, wouldn't that be three wrestlers? Because both of us are retired.
Oh, you're retired too?
Well, semi. So.
Well, you're always in and out,
dude.
What's that?
You're only half. No matter
What's
what.
That? Okay, I got you. So it's three.
Oh
three and a
no!
half.
I helped lift him up at the wedding. He's far from half. He's kind of full.
Well, we're here with a special guest. It is Mr. formerly known as Tyler Reks, a.k.a. now known to the world by his real name, Gabe Tuft. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Miss you guys, Kevin, especially you and our Waffle House mornings. I got a lot of that.
Mornings, plural. There was more than one.
Well, it resounded in my memory over and over again, so I treat it as multiple times. I feel like I'm just part of your everyday life.
What should we call you on here? Gabe, Tyler, or Taj Milano, maybe?
Taj is always good. I really like that name. That was a terrible name. Does anybody even know how that name came around? Can I tell that?
I don't even know what that is.
I was doing my research on him, I guess, and I discovered one of his names was Taj Milano.
Yeah, okay, so this is how it happened. Back in developmental, when Timmy Baltimore was there, good old Timmy, one day they go, hey guys, the office wants you to come up with stage names. Nobody can use their real names anymore, so come up with the stage name. I want a list of first names and a list of last names that you like. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I threw together a list of like 20 first names and 20 last names, and one of them just happened to be Taj because there's a pro surfer called Taj Burroughs. I'm like, Taj is kind of a cool name. And then Milano is my wife Priscilla. It's her mom's maiden name. I just literally threw a bunch of stuff together. And one day, Timmy comes to me, and I guess there was this deadline at the office, and they're demanding that they get these names. And I don't know if he was just not doing his job and didn't get it on time or whatever, but he comes, Gabe, I need that list. Where is it? I'm like, oh, it's right here, man. And he looks like, okay, Taj and Milano. Okay, see you later. And that was it. He picked two names off the list for me with no association and then kicked me out of the office. And that's how Taj Milano came to be.
Jeez.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, it lasted 4 days, and then Dusty Rhodes was at FCW, and he goes, "Baby, what's up with this Taj Milano? You sound like a French whore. We got to get rid of that right now." So that name died. But yeah, call me Gabe. That's the short story.
Okay, so we'll call you Gabe.
Yeah.
Sweet. Actually, the first time I ran into Gabe,
Hi, Kevin.
I didn't know Gabe in developmental. My friend, like, when I went down there and was trying to get a ref gig or whatever, actually my first encounter probably with you wasn't exactly a great one. I don't know if you remember that. The match between you and Archer, where Archer was supposed to go up on you. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's kind of awkward. I remember Tyler used to do this, or Gabe, whatever, used to do the fucking kind of a thing into an elbow. And then one of his, signature moves, it wasn't his finish move, and I remember awkwardly I counted 3, and he didn't kick out. And
whoa, you were the ref?
Yeah, it was me, dude.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Holy crap!
That was technically my tryout as a referee. Like, oh, we're gonna put you on TV. You're reffing this, and I remember Dusty getting in Vance's ear and was like, this is gonna be your big heel thing. Rex is like, you were leaving or whatever, and blah blah blah, and then came back to the curtain and he got screamed at.
Oh, man, I remember that, too. And dude, that was an awful night. Especially, we were always good friends, so that was just bad for all of us. And it's funny because it was made out to be a way bigger deal than it really was, because he was called up. Did he get up there before me?
I don't know. It was real.
If he did shortly thereafter, it had absolutely no effect on his plans for the upper roster. So it was just stupid altogether. It was just whatever. Yeah, but that's cool. Good to know that you were in that. And I was.
Oh yeah, thanks for remembering me. Appreciate it.
Sorry.
Big super.
Save your life, right?
Yeah. Oh, one thing I think people don't know, or people that listen to this show, is a lot of guys listen and know a lot about the independent wrestlers. You weren't one. So how did you go about getting hired? Or how did they find you, or how did you find them?
Yeah, that's always been a question people have asked me, and sometimes it was was frowned upon a lot because when I got into the business, I didn't know a whole lot about it. When I lived in San Clemente, California, which is Southern California, Rick Bassman, who owned UPW, was a real good friend of mine. And I knew him before I knew he was the owner of UPW. And he had this gym that was literally 2 blocks from my condo. It took me 5 minutes to walk there. And, you know, I was a fan of wrestling growing up. I think every kid is at a certain point. And, you know, we watched all the major players. And then come college time, I just kind of got out of it. I was going to college. I didn't have any money, so I couldn't get cable, and I never got back into it. So I just let it fall off my radar. So Rick is running this wrestling school. It's kind of still going, kind of not. He was still doing shows up at it wasn't the Pond. Where was it? I can't remember where it was. The Galaxy. Was that it?
I have no idea. Never been out there.
These little events. Anyway, but you know, it was UPW, and he had me go to one of them, and I got to know Tom Howard and
Rick Bassman.
Yep, little Rick. You said that like Rick Bassman.
I don't know. You never seen that UPW special? Like fucking, but that was on TV a long time ago. Rick Bassman and Tom Howard and all that shit.
Yep.
No saw that? Everyone saw that one. Come on, man. It almost made me want to move to California and join the school.
The one where they showed Cena on it?
Yeah, and then they did that sad story at the end where, like, this many guys were given contracts, but Tom Howard's developmental deal was not renewed. But then a surprise came in the mail 4 days later, and it was another developmental contract for Tom Howard. No one's fuck off. Continuing along.
Yeah, we're interviewing Reks.
All right, you know what? No, I'll put the headset down every week. I put the headset down.
You're an invaluable part of this podcast, by the way, Kevin.
No, I apologize. Oh,
no, you are. I'm being serious. This is the reason I listen, because of you. As much as Buck and both of you, I love your interjections. They're awesome. It just wouldn't be the same without you. It's like you like Baba Booey to Howard Stern, you know?
Actually, and then I guess that would make Jamie like Robin, right?
Just buzzes in whenever he wants.
Oh, man.
He's the hot black chick in the glass box.
Why can't it be Stuttering John or someone?
No, you're Robin, dude.
Okay, you're definitely Robin. So, yeah.
And now news.
Back to the story. Anyway, I got to know, like, Sean O'Hare and those guys. And one day, Rick just buzzes me. I was done surfing. I was sitting at the house, or the condo, sorry, and I literally had my feet up on the couch. He calls me. He goes, hey, Gabe, what are you doing right now? Watching TV. He goes, hey, I run that wrestling school, right? Yeah. He goes, hey, there's some scouts here. You want to just come get looked at? Okay, what do I got to do? He's like, nothing. Just come up and talk to the guys. You know, you might be marketable. And I'm like, okay. And at this point, I had never stepped foot in a wrestling ring. I knew nothing about it. I hadn't looked at wrestling since I was 17. So I get in my car and drive up there. I'm wearing jeans and a wife beater, and I walk in, and there's 40 dudes there in their gear bumping around in the ring. I'm scared out of my mind. I'm like, what did I just walk into? Everybody seems really stressed out, and then I see Johnny Ace and Bucci, and they go, hey, are you Gabe? I'm like, yeah, hi, good to meet you. And they grab me.
But hold on, you got to do a better Johnny Ace than that. That was horrible.
What's that?
You got to do a better Johnny Ace impersonation than that.
Okay, so kid, why don't you come here and talk to me? You know,
it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
I've been doing Johnny for years.
We all have.
It's the easiest one to do. I mean, like, come on. So, anyway, Bucci goes with me and a couple other guys in the office, and he just basically lays it out for us. We're all idiots that have never wrestled in our life. It's me, Poland, big tall black guy, and one other dude, and we're just a bunch of, like, we're nobody. And they go, well, why don't you guys come in tomorrow and we'll see if you're athletic. So we come in on a Saturday morning to Rick's gym. There's nobody there. They put us in the ring. They teach us how to run the ropes, take my first bump, which rung my bell so bad. Vaulted in and out of the ring a couple times, did an up and over, and like, okay, let's send you to Georgia. And that's how I got my tryout in Georgia. And after that...
Hold on. Oh, when did you go to Georgia? Here you go. You knew this was coming. When did you go there? Do you remember what month and year?
Yeah, hang on. It was I want to think it was like February 07.
2007.
Yeah.
Okay. I was let go from the end of September 2006. So I missed you by a couple of months.
It might have been a different life for you and me, man. We may have a different relationship right now.
I just missed you. All right, continuing along.
Differently of me. So, I went out there, met Heath Miller, Brodus, Perez, who else was there?
The Majors out there at the time?
Yeah, I think they were on the road. I don't think Hawkins was there. I can't really remember.
No, they weren't because didn't Deep South close and they got sent to OVW?
Yeah, they were there for the closing.
And then from OVW they got called up, so they should have been there. Yeah, they should have been there.
They weren't. I mean, it was shortly after my tryout that Deep South.
Closed.
Yeah, they closed. February, actually, February was when the last couple. That's when Bill and all them got fired. I remember. Yeah. And, then I think a month later, everyone was sent to Georgia. To Florida.
It wasn't. It wasn't too long after I was there. I remember hearing the news about that, so it kind of shook a little bit. But it was interesting. I get back from the tryout, and it was a lot of watching and not a lot of doing. And Dave Taylor was there. He was cool. Nice guy. Love him to death still. But he made me run the ropes, so I was black and blue on my back forever. But I get back, and Ty calls me. He's like, "Yeah, okay, cool. We're gonna send a contract out for you. We really liked you." And I'm like, okay, great. So I sit around, and I'm going to shut my window. You guys hear my baby crying?
Shut that kid up!
Shut that kid up! The whole reason I'm home now.
Well, I was gonna insert a Benoit joke, but I stopped myself.
Ooh, yeah. And the interview's over.
I don't want to hear it, but I kind of don't. So anyway, yeah. So,
you have a Bible handy? No, all right, shut up no more.
Where are your dogs?
Are the dogs locked up in the back door? All right, stop.
Stop. This is bad. Stop.
You're killing me.
Do not edit any of this out.
Continue, Gabe.
So, I go...
Gabriel.
He goes, yeah, we'll get your contract out in like a week. Well, a week goes by, no contract. 2 weeks goes by, no contract. And I call Rick. I'm like, hey, man, I thought I was, shipping out. What's going on? He goes, oh, yeah, hey, Gabe, well, let me see what's going on. And I'm like, okay. And another week goes by, and I call Rick. And at this point, Rick's like, dude, don't ask me to call these guys again. You don't understand how this stuff works. And I go, okay, well, hey, man, look, I had a good time. I really like this wrestling thing.
Wrestling thing?
This play fighting that we do. It's really fun. Can I train at your school in the meantime and just kind of learn until I hear back from these guys? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. So he comps my tuition at UPW, which at that time consisted of Tommy Williams, who was an instructor, and Funky Billy Kim. And who is Funky Billy Kim? Sorry, and then Tommy Wilson, and that was it. I trained with a couple of glorified marks, and then Chris Masters' ex-fiance was there, Maritza, who was a real nice girl. She was training with us, and I really trained 1.5 times a week, if there was even enough people for a second class. And I learned how to bump poorly and very poorly put together a match. So it was funny. I I kept getting backstage at the house shows and going to say hi with Rick and stuff. And every time I see Johnny, he's like, "Hey kid, what you weighing in at?" I'm like, "Oh I'm 220." And then I go lift for a while and eat a lot. And "Hey kid, what you weighing in at?" And a little bit heavier. And then finally, when I was at a nice heavy, round, really jacked up size, he goes, "All right, let's get you to Florida." I'm like, "Whoa, okay." So it was like 3 or 4 visits to shows later over the course of like a year. And that was it, man. I closed down 2 businesses. My wife owned a personal training center. We closed that down. I closed down my land development company and shipped out, man. Just sold everything, took 1 car with us, and that's how I got to Florida.
Wow, okay. Same way.
How tall are you, Gabe?
6'3".
6'3", okay.
Dude, no fucking way. No, you were like my height.
How tall are you?
6'5".
Nah, bro, I'm 6'3".
Dreads, maybe.
The dreads.
All the pumping. I'm 6'2.9" now. It's terrible.
Because, oh wait, you shaved your head?
No, what?
What are you talking about? I thought you just said you shaved your head. Now you. Oh.
No, I said from all the bumping, I'm shrinking. Pressing. I'm a little shorter than I used to be.
All right. Okay. So flash forward, you went through Tampa. You're one of the guys. I think one thing that guys like before I even knew about you. I think when you actually debuted for ECW, I remember a lot of the guys giving you a lot of credit because they were saying, you were one of the guys that caught a lucky break, that got hired, but you were at least one that kind of embraced it, and they expected you to be, really almost too good too soon, and that, you debuted on when you're doing your thing in ECW. Did you felt like they expected too much out of you too quickly, since you were kind of kind of fresh off the street as opposed to guys who spent years and years and years in wrestling? What was that like?
That's an interesting question, Buck, and it's kind of I don't know where to start, but I didn't know anything, and I had to learn from scratch, and I had to learn at an extremely accelerated rate, which involved watching a truckload of tape, asking a lot of questions, and at the same time trying to learn the etiquette of the business and fit in, and getting over that feeling like an idiot because you're green in your first couple matches, and even 2-3 months into it, still feeling like an idiot because everybody's taking jabs at you. But that's just part of the business, and I had a couple of good guys that helped me out. I try to be nice to everybody, and I try to carry around that rapport. So I think guys were a little more apt to help me than the average person, because I've seen guys come in, I won't mention names, but that didn't have any experience, kind of the same position I was in, but they were in other sports. Max McGurk. The concussion king. Oh my gosh! Have you told that story on this podcast?
I don't know. Maybe there's a guy that was. He deserves his own segment. We'll bring him up later.
In short, it's Mike McGurk, the old school hot. Remember that hot ring announcer with the blonde curly hair you used to jerk off to back in the day? It's her, that son, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That son. That doesn't even sound right. It's that son. Her son.
Let's just leave it at the fact that he skewed the data for the yearly concussions. Like when they were giving us a presentation, there's a graph they show with all the data and how concussions are going down, and then there's 4 or 5 little dots, way off the scale, and they're like, well, this is an FCW talent that kind of skewed the scale. It's not normal, so we're just going to ignore it. He knocked himself out 5 times over the course of 2 months.
And it wasn't anything like, he just got unlucky. It was the most. I remember watching one time he shot a guy off and did a drop kick where the guy holds onto the ropes, he takes the bump, and bam, just knocked himself out. And then another time on a house show, he did the old. I think it was the Cactus Jack clothesline, where you take the clothesline with the guy and go over the top rope, and didn't post or anything, and just bam, knocked himself out. It was always kind of his. It was always his fault, and there he was, just fucking bouncing around.
Did you guys have to wear helmets because of this?
Oh, I wasn't there for that, but yeah, that sparks.
Right, I heard about that.
I was already on the road for that, thank God, and I wasn't required to go to practices anymore. But yeah, I walked in one day just to say hi or drop something off, and on the wall is all this headgear and stuff.
Karate helmets, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
You got your boots, yep. Elbow pads, yep. Helmet. Yeah, all right, you get to get in the ring.
It wasn't a full helmet. It was like a karate, that fucking a boxing,
the Gladiator's helmet.
A soft thing that you put on. It was really just bullshit. It was just to fucking make it seem like they were doing something, and people wore them for a little while, and then they slowly got rid of them. I think for the new retards they hired, they would have to wear them. But as the older ones, once you got it was just there to make it seem like you were actually they were protecting people.
The new retards.
Well, the ones that didn't bump ever and just
You know what that reminded me of?
Not in your vocabulary. Love it.
Wait, hold it. Did you ever see something about Mary where Matt Dillon's he's telling her, he's like, I work with retards, and she's like, isn't that a little politically incorrect? He's like, fuck that. No one's going to tell me who I can and can't work with. We have this one kid, Mongo,
he's
who put in the
cage.
backyard. Yeah.
No, I said butt plug.